I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our entire team needs to be executed after tonight.
Long
Hello, what up, nerds?
What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. It's, of course, your boy Andrew Esquire coming at you here from Bangkok, Thailand. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Of course, I am. I'm enjoying it. It is a beautiful weather here. It's great. Got a ton to talk about today. We got a full docket talking about Wukong. We're going to talk about the Adobe lawsuit. We're going to talk a little bit about some good news in contract land. We've got all that. We are live on Rumble and YouTube and locals. So all those over there. What's up? What's up to Veggie Han? I see Danielle. Thank Wolfgar over there on locals. And what's up to all those people checking in on Rumble. Appreciate y'all very, very much. And everybody here, all the based members of the BLM over here on YouTube. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for hanging in there. Took the last couple of days off. A couple of days I wasn't feeling great. Had a little bit of a little bit of food poisoning. I think I went to like a seafood buffet and it just didn't sit right. So I was, relaxing, taking it easy the last couple of days. Also, really waiting for some good news stories, because sometimes, guys, if I'm out there and I see there's nothing great to cover, I say, you know what, this is a good day for a rest day. It's a good day to take a little break. And it's always good to avoid burnout. That's something very important as a streamer, as somebody who's doing something, to take a little break every once in a while and make sure you're mentally clear. So yeah, back from that, feeling very good and nice. Who said Chaos Smash as a replacement hoodie is required? Get on it ASAP. The problem is it's hard to find a replacement size hoodie in Asia, but I will work on it. I may have. Do I have one? No, I don't think I have one on me right now. I can double check, but I don't think I have one on me right now. We'll check that. We'll check. Sparky's text corner said, base lawyer man. What's up, Legal Mind? Said, hey, I'm having a good time. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to your Medicare watch along. I'm sorry I wasn't able to join Sparky. But that said, appreciate you and appreciate your channel. And shout out to all those content creators out there, because I know there's a lot of content creators watching my channel that pop by. Whether they're lovers or whether they're aunties, it is much appreciated. And Billy Aoki, thank you for the 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Absolutely, 100%.
Listen, I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. So today we've got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to cover I'm going to probably start with the good news for the VTuber episodes. And then we're going to get into the Black Myth Wukong, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that for those that may or may not know about that. And we're going to get into that controversy, the rumored extortion. We're going to watch V's video. V's actually a friend of mine. I've met V before. Very, very good. A very, very good channel. So yeah. And then we're going to go through all that. Then we're going to get into the Adobe lawsuit, which just dropped. So the Adobe lawsuit just dropped, and I 100% called this. I said, hey, there's going to be some national level compliance issues, and they've gotten hit by the United States first. I imagine that Europe is going to have a similar action, and many other countries around the world are going to do similar actions to what we saw in America. I think many other countries are going to follow the route of, or at least, blocks of countries. Like, for example, the EU are going to follow the example of the United States and say this is not permissible because of what they tried to pull and how egregious it is. It is really ridiculous. We're also going to look at, let's see. Somebody did a compilation of the Long Man stuff. So I saw that on my timeline. I'm like, you know what? It's about time. It's about time to go through that. So that'll be like the outro. Also, someone was begging me to play the Doom trailer. We may get demonetized for doing that, which I kept telling the person, I'm like, dude, I'm going to get demonetized. It's like, no, you won't. It's been played elsewhere. I'm like, I'm not sure you understand how demonetization works. It's not whether or not other channels have it up. They might have it up, but they're demonetized because my channel is monetized, right? It's the different analysis when the algorithm's going through and looking at it. But I'll play it at the end because they asked me like 6 times. So I'll play it for them. I'm a sucker for the people, a man of the people. But That said, what else we got here? Let me get some of these super chats before we get started here. Today's episode is sponsored by
monkey とかさ
Yes, the second I saw it was a controversy involving a fucking monkey, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect topic for me. And a lot of people want me to cover gaming topics, want me to cover stuff because it's sort of anime adjacent, VTuber adjacent, corporate America adjacent. And those are kind of prime areas I cover. I cover a lot of corporate America because, well, I worked as corporate counsel. In fact, I'm pretty sure of all the lawyers on YouTube, I am the only one who has worked in-house in a corporate regulatory and compliance role. I don't think anybody else has actually worked there in that role. And to this day, I still do work for certain companies in a consultant standpoint, consultant role, right, for their regulatory and compliance roles, dealing with a lot like this, like Deceptive Practices Acts, right, which is exactly what we're going to get into today. So this is something I saw coming, and I said, oh yeah, this is regulatory bells are going off everywhere. So it's very interesting to me. I always find these things fascinating. Wild Kid says, Andrew, would you be willing to do a stream on the inconsistency of Twitch TOS targeting VTubers? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, that's a really good topic. I will definitely do that. And maybe I can bring on some VTubers or ask some people or interview some people that have been targeted by Twitch specifically. I know Lydia has, and I know some other folks have, so maybe I'll bring them on to talk about it because it's absolutely preposterous. They'll come after VTubers for being quote unquote lewd, but if you look at what the e-thoughts and e-girls are wearing on Twitch, it's much more provocative than whatever the VTubers are doing, right? So that it's always been wildly inconsistent regarding VTubers. Enterprise of Grego says, I'm sure the DoD just absolutely love those Adobe updates. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they absolutely were like, you know what? You're going to use all of our information on our government computer. Yeah, no, we're not going to agree to that, Adobe. Actually, fuck you. Actually, go fuck yourself. Okay. So let me show you this. This was actually a funny one. So I want to play this first because this is something that came across my desk on Instagram. Someone forwarded this to me on Instagram, but this is kind of hilarious. This is something in Denmark. It's a story that just kind of came around. Let me see if I can play it real quick here for you guys. This is actually kind of nuts. Now this shows you over-regulation, right? Let me play this. Okay. So South Korean noodles have been recalled in Denmark.
Is that the product contains too much capsaicin, which is a natural substance in chili peppers. In other words, the product...
For those of you who know, he's holding puldak. Puldak is a very, very famous instant noodle. It's spicy. I actually really like them. They're actually really interesting. But yeah, Denmark over-regulating.
It's being recalled because it's spicy.
It's a little bit strange because most people, they already know it's spicy when they buy it.
Just because you can't eat it doesn't mean I don't get to eat it. So I'm just very upset that I don't get my noodles. But you know, everything for the good of the people, right?
This product is just as spicy as fresh jalapenos and Tabasco. If ramen is being recalled, then why is Tabasco and fresh jalapenos not being recalled? The Danish Food Administration decides what you can and cannot eat. You don't have the freedom to choose anymore.
Well, that's true of many countries, by the way. That's true that people are not able to control a lot of their regular decisions because the government decides to step in and say, no, this is too dangerous for you. And I've talked about this before, but this is part of, I think, a general cultural trend, especially in the West, of I don't know any other way to say it other than like, I'm trying to find a word other than pussification, like, but it's very hard. And I know that's going to be...
Hello, best department.
But it's this general movement where we have to put, styrofoam and foam padding on everything. And we can't do anything fun anymore. And one of the things that I love about being in Asia, particularly Southeast Asia, is I get to do some shit that's actually kind of dangerous, but it's really fun. And I'm like, you know what? This is fun because it's a little bit dangerous. And, when you do something that may be dangerous, you accept a certain amount of risk. And that's something that I think, especially in the West, we lose and lose and lose as the government becomes more of a nanny, right? A nanny minder saying, oh, well, you're not allowed to do this or this or this or this or this. So what, the government ends up as this nanny that's essentially putting you in a padded foam box and saying, okay, you can be there, but I want to be over there having fun. No. You can stay in your box. Stay in your box. It's very interesting.
건강상의 문제면은 한국에서 더 이슈가 먼저 됐었어야 된다고 생각하는데 그래도 한국에서
So she's saying that, hey, if this was so dangerous, people wouldn't eat it in Korea every single day. I lived in Seoul where they're interviewing this woman, Min Ji-yoon. People eat that all the time. I ate that all the time. I still eat it. It's legal in Thailand. It's legal in Japan, Korea, Philippines, places I am normally, Singapore, other places. None of this is a problem here. So if it's safe enough for like more than half of the human population, why does Denmark need to, say, oh, no, we need to regulate this?
수요가 계속해서 많은 추세니까 건강에 문제가 있는가에 대해서는 잘 모르겠네요. 건강에 좋을 것 같다고는 생각은 안 했는데 그래도 전량 회수할 정도는 또 아닌 것 같아요.
So she's saying she never thought they were healthy, and most people don't think. Most people, even Koreans, don't think that Korean instant noodles are healthy. No one thinks they are. In fact, there is a health risk. There is a health risk if you just eat noodles. This is actually something I don't know if you guys knew, but if you're eating like just noodles, you do have a risk of consuming like way too much sodium. So you may end up getting kidney stones, and that's really, really bad. So you want to drink a lot of water. If you're eating like a lot of ramen, you want to drink a lot of water. And, most people aren't drinking enough water. You need to drink about 6 to 8 glasses a day. That's actually like more standard, right? So, and this is, once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a food specialist, but this is just stuff I've read from, people analyzing issues, including lawsuits that come out of these situations. And, if you're drinking enough water to offset it, but yeah, obviously don't just eat instant noodles. That's not enough nutritionally, right? But that said, that's your choice. That's your choice. Now, the funny thing was, one of the posters on the Instagram post, they said, well, the problem was that kids are doing spicy food challenges. I go, well, if they're doing spicy food challenges, that's on them. And that's on their parents to police children. I know this may be controversial, particularly in the legal world, where many lawyers are apparently now taking the position that children need to fend for themselves in sort of a Lord of the Flies scenario, right? While the parents can off be doing drugs or whatever the hell else they want to do. Some lawyers have taken that position. I take the position that no, legally you are still responsible for children until they're the age of 18. So if your children are doing a spicy food challenge to the point where it's dangerous, that's on you as a parent, right? To inform your kids, right? That's on you. That's on you. But that's my controversial hot take on this. Revan said, what's up, bro? I hope all is well. I'm doing great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for understanding, guys. I know sometimes I take a break, and when I come back, the viewership is a little bit down because the algorithm is a little mad at me. But I do appreciate all you guys sticking with me, hanging out here. It's really, really, really appreciated. Oyamana said, the animated short on the sushi dog drink topic you showed last time was just half of what was wrong. I emailed the link to the whole thing. I digress. Yeah, I'll check it out later. We've got enough stories for today to get us through at least an hour or two. So I will check it out maybe for tomorrow's thing. Also, I've gotten positive feedback in my discussion with GamerSups. So they're going to be sending me some not supplements, but some caffeine drinks and stuff over here, care package over here to Asia. So I may be partnering with them in the future. So shout out to those guys. Reinhard Rivaldi said, imagine getting filtered by instant noodles. I know. It's pretty rough, right? But in the meantime, by the way, if you guys want to get some really good tea, some really base tea, you guys can go over and you can check out Dragon's Treasure Tea, code mindset, like it's in the banner below. Also, yes, this is not financial or medical advice, as per the banner. Recall for being too spicy, skill issue. Indeed. Wildcat says nothing will take away our freedoms faster than a bored government. And I feel like they just have nothing better to do, right? They could be fixing real problems, but instead we're going to go out there and ban instant noodles. Seriously? Come on. Jin says Norway and Sweden are fine with Bulldog. I see them for sale. Denmark is just weak. Skill issue for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not banned across Europe. It was just Denmark. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Danish government people would say mayonnaise is spicy. Oh, no. Oh, that is
Fighting
definitely...
monkey とかさ
That's a monkey take right there. All right. So we've got some good news on the VTuber front, guys. Some good news on the VTuber front. I saw this and I thought this was really good. Now, this may seem like it's very basic, so bear with me. So bear with me here, guys. But this is actually big news for the VTuber industry, because it shows that little by little, the VTuber industry is getting into line where they're allowing contracts to be negotiated by like any other contract. So as you guys may or may not know, Sayu is currently negotiating a contract with an agency. I don't think she's announced which it is yet, although we will eventually find out, right? So we're going to find out, right, which one it is. But listen to what she had to say here. This is very interesting, and I want to talk about this for a second.
I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret that's not so much a secret, okay? It's a secret, but I can say it, okay?
This is big.
Just saying, it's good, guys, to find. You know, I've never seen an agency do this, but let you guys in on a little secret here, because you guys have been so nice today, okay? I may have found an agency that basically said, no, they didn't basically say, they did say this. I found an agency that said, go ahead and have your lawyer make the revisions that we've agreed on. So we agreed on a bunch of revisions and a bunch of really good negotiations. And they said, have your lawyer write them in. And then we'll sign it. So just saying, guys.
Okay, so I want to say a couple things. This should be standard, because in the world of like, which she doesn't understand because she's not a lawyer, like doesn't do contracts. That is actually how it is supposed to be, people. Let me put the mic up here. This is what is supposed to happen. You are supposed to have two sides equally negotiating and having your lawyer make corrections along with their lawyer. You're supposed to both edit the document jointly. That's how real negotiations go, guys. So finally, there is a company, which we'll find out soon, that is allowing normal shit to happen. This isn't this behavior. This isn't like in the world of legal contracts. This is not that crazy. This is just normal. But finally, you're seeing some VTubing companies leave the Japanese idol, we are absolute dictators and you will kiss our feet in order to work for us, right? This slave indentured servant mentality that is the normal, typical Japanese contract. And you're seeing people say, no, we're going to give you a Western style deal where it's negotiated by both parties. That doesn't mean, by the way, it's going to be a perfect contract. In fact, I guarantee you that if we saw the contract, there would be things that you would say, oh, wow, that's still not perfect, right? And I'm sure that if I were her lawyer, I'd have things I'd say, oh, no, wait, this could be better, but we still agreed to it, right? We came to a meeting of the minds. We came to an agreement. You know, you gave up a little, we gave up a little. That's how a contract should be, right? That's how a contract should work. And the fact that she's finally discovering that, I'm very happy for Sayu. I'm happy for it, but it's about damn time that companies are getting around. And I hope if I can do one thing in the VTuber realm, in the VTuber space, if I have one positive contribution, that is to call out the VTuber contracts and to lead us to the promised land of just being fucking normal. I'm not asking for the VTuber contracts to be perfect for VTubers. They never will be, right? They'll always be a little bit that you have to give and take. Guys, that's normal in business. I'm just asking for them to be fucking normal and not these slave contracts. And guys, I thought about this before, because some people, they give me flack or they say this and that. I have now read, because people send me dozens of contracts behind the scenes. I have read contracts from every single major corporation, from all of them, right? All of them. Just because I haven't reviewed them live doesn't mean I haven't seen them. I've seen them all now, at least the major ones. And I can tell you there's good and bad, right? There's good and bad in all of the contracts, period, right? But they can get better. And if there's one thing that I want to push for, it's to make those contracts better. right? And I did do that work for Idle in helping them, helping suggest improvements. Although I don't have the call on the final cut. As far as I know, they haven't made the final cut public yet. They will eventually, right? But this is the direction that I want to go. And I think it's a positive thing for the industry. So I'm glad to see it's happening for her. And I'm not going to stop advocating for that. I know a lot of people think that, oh no, you're just grifting through. And it's like, no. I want to get enough eyeballs on this issue and stay vocal on this issue till there is change, till there's reform of these VTuber contracts. And I'm not going to shut up about the contracts until they're fixed, until they're just, right? And even then, even after the contracts are fixed, I still enjoy the industry. There are some people that are trying to attack VTubers right now. It's very weird, and a lot of them are just weird folks. Oftentimes, the folks that end up tilting against VTubers, that end up getting mad at VTubers, they're often weirdos themselves and have weird, let's say, internet interests or perhaps even criminal histories. So I don't pay much attention to that, but the folks that criticize the industry as a whole without coming specific piece by piece, company by company, contract by contract, VTuber by VTuber, they're making a bad analysis. And that's what I want to bring up. Cody brought it up here. After the way she was screwed in the past, it's nice to see Sayu finally getting treated right behind the scenes. Yeah, she's an awesome creator. Love stopping by her streams and saying hi, and she deserves to have a good contract. Cam W said, great topic, Andrew. Thanks for coming. My pleasure. My pleasure. I like these multi-topic streams because it kind of hits a little bit of everything, a little bit of stuff you're interested in or may not be interested in. It goes all around. Kid Loco said, like Ono, don't want to stop wars, but ban lollies. Yes, the great lolly debate. The great lolly debate. Let's see. Okay, I think I got everything here. Yeah, and people mention it in there. I'm not gonna, once again, I don't even want to give people, a lot of these people that are coming after VTubers or other people, I don't even want to give them the acknowledgement of being named. Many of these people, they want to be named. They want the attention. It's not worth giving them the attention. And actually, the reason why a lot of these people attacked VTubers, and actually, I'll mention somebody now, Brittany Venti, because she's gotten out of the game, right? Brittany Venti is now, from what I understand, she's completely checked out of YouTube. She's kind of off and she's doing her own, doing her own thing. I think she got married or something, right? People that do that, they see that as a way to draw in clout and attention to themselves because VTubing is a popular topic, because there's lots of drama tuber channels and there's lots of news channels. There's lots of people reporting on VTubing. And because of that, they know they'll get eyeballs on it if they attack them, right? So their streams are usually failing. They're usually in a downward trajectory, which is why they decide to tilt at VTubers. But just know that to me, it's the stupidest thing ever, because tilting at VTubers is like Don Quixote tilting at windmills. You are never going to win. The industry is so big. The industry is massive. You think you're going to ever beat people? You think you're going to beat VTubing when there's people that don't understand English, right? So you're going to try to attack in English as somebody in the West entertainment that is super popular in, for example, Japan, Indonesia, other places. And even if those people do know English, they probably don't care about a bunch of English flesh tuber streamers that are angry, right? So it's just very interesting to me. They're never going to beat VTubing. They're never going to get, they're never going to stop anything, right? So I pay them literally no mind. And what I think my advice to other creators out there and people that, see people attacking VTubing industry and coming at VTubing is to literally ignore these people. Ignore the antis. Don't give them fuel. Don't give them the attention. Starve them of oxygen like a fire, and they will be snuffed out. Let them go somewhere else and rage and whatever. Just ignore them, get rid of them, remove them from your social media, and they will go away. Right? It's the funny thing is that the clout goblins, the clout demons, they feed on attention, including negative attention. So when you come after them, it often gives them exactly what they want. So yeah. Some people say VTubing is fine, but it's a fad. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. It's a fad. It's a fad. Yeah, it's expanding. Now, is it going to change? Yes, it'll change, right? The models will get better. Right? I think more people are going to get into it. Maybe the nature of what they do is going to change. Maybe streaming changes in the future. Maybe there's more interactivity. Maybe there's more of a metaverse element to it. Who knows? But it ain't going anywhere. It is not going anywhere. Like, anybody who thinks VTubing is going to disappear is an idiot, right? Crazy. So preach it, LM. No, I got to preach it, because there's some people out there that are literally mentally deficient, and they think they're going to take out an entire industry. It's like, bro, come on. Yeah. VTuber phase. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Good luck. You know what? Let's see who's right. Check in with me in 5 years and 10 years and 15 years. Let's see who's right, because I'll still be streaming then. I'll still be doing stuff then. Right. I don't care what platform I'm on. Even if I got deplatformed on YouTube, I'd go to another platform. I continue streaming. Right. I'm not going to stop. Right. We'll see. We'll see in 5 years. I'll be here, and we'll check in 5 years. Tech Turtle says VTubers having reasonable contracts. Who would have thought? Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. It's crazy that we got to a place where they got reasonable contracts. But the reason why that happens is because we have discussion on it and eyeballs on it. And for all those that want to call people talking about Niji Sanji as grifters or whatever else, the exposure in the eyeballs on this issue is what is going to change this issue. When this issue is going mainstream, that's when things change. You know why the Adobe lawsuit, yes, there are people in the government that paid attention, but because so many people on the internet brought up this insane issue, ultimately, that is one thing that contributed towards, maybe not the cause, but it's a contributing factor for sure. Press and PR, particularly on the internet, has a big effect. And we're going to talk about with Wukong. So let's get into the Wukong. Let's get into the fucking monkey. But let's talk about this for 2 seconds. Wildcade says likes should be public on X, only truth on there. You know, I'm kind of I go from like agreeing with likes to be public versus not caring, mostly because I didn't ever use that function to search out what other people like. But I don't care if my likes are public. I'm nothing to be embarrassed about my likes on X. If someone wanted to go through and log and A-log all of my likes, I don't give a fuck, because I stand by every single thing I've liked. And even if I've liked it as a meme or whatever else, that's fine. Who gives a shit? I'm going to own it. And yeah, I have no problem with likes being public. Never thought about hiding them. Curio from Malaysian Ringgit 15 says, talking about VTubers, I recommend next season we'll have a VTuber Legend anime adaptation. The LN is really unhinged funny. The anime is also A-list. Yeah, we watched the trailer there, I think, for that, and I'm really positive for VTuber anime. I think it can actually go a long way, a very long way. I finished an isekai light novel over the last couple days because I had some time. It was called, like, what is it? Like something like The Village NPCs Are Real or something like that. It was about this like alternative world where this guy controls these like village NPCs through a computer game, but it's like an alternative world and there's gods involved. And I ended up reading the light novel because the manga ended up soon. But yeah, no, really good. And I will definitely have an anime episode in the future soon. But yes. Oh, also people mentioned Rev. So he should be on in the next week or two. I'm just going to coordinate a time with him to be on, but we'll bring him on. So yeah. All right, let's get into Wukong. So I don't know if you guys know about Wukong, right? Because some of you may not know about the story of Wukong, the Monkey King, and the journey to the West, right? Now, the journey to the West is one of the most popular Chinese stories out there. And a lot of people in America, they may not be as familiar about it. This is an illustration from a 19th century work on Journey to the West. This is Sun Wukong here. Now, technically, he's not the main character of that. They're actually supposed to protect a monk that is traveling to the West to do some tasks for Buddha, right? And actually, the main monk and this guy eventually they rise to Buddhahood, right? But Sun Wukong is one of the major characters. He's certainly one of the more interesting ones in that tale. It has been made into English. It was translated. I believe the translation was as like Monkey King or Monkey, but like it was translated into English. So of course, you know, since this is about I definitely had to cover this. Like it's 100%, and this is big across all of Asia, particularly guys. Countries that are really big into Buddhism, like my own country that I'm in right now, which is Thailand. This is actually here in Thailand at a temple, and these are the characters from Journey to the West. So in case you didn't know about this, this is the monk right here on the left. He's the monk. He's technically the one they're supposed to protect, right? So these are all the protectors of Sun Wukong. So Sun Wukong is one of the protectors of the monk. So he's the monkey king. There's a pig dude who's like really into women, right? And then there's like the sand oni looking guy. Oh, actually, sorry, this is the monk over here. Sorry, I mentioned the right one. This is the monk over here. This is like the oni guy. This guy's like a sand oni looking guy. Here's the monk. Here's Sun Wukong. Here's the pig guy. Sorry, I confused these two. There you go. Got you guys. Mixed them up. Anyways, but this horse is actually like a divine horse as well. So anyways, it's a very interesting story. If you guys ever have a chance, the time to read it. People in the chat mentioned that Goku was based on this. Story. Hold on. Who said it? I have to play it.
Thank you very much for all of your lovely art as well. Some of it a little lewd. To those of you drawing me with horses, y'all are into some fucked up shit, and I hope you get the help you need. I really truly hope you get the help you need.
That said, guys, by the way, Rima's poll, her community, the name Cloppers won out. It beat the Cavalry. It beat the other ones, the Kitsunes. It was so great that the Cloppers took the top spot in the poll. It was perfect. Clopping to victory. But yeah, let's read this one real quick, then we'll continue. Sir Guard Petal of the Nettle Soup says, these gaming journals clearly didn't learn with Hogwarts Legacy, smeared it and tried to boycott and backfired. Oh, it backfired big time. Just pay attention to this. So now that we know some basics of the story of Sun Wukong, you guys may not know. You guys, one important fact you guys should know is this is made by a Chinese studio. Okay? So one thing here that you really have to understand, and this is like a very important point, is that being made in China, a lot of Westerners, what they fail to realize is a lot of these ESG tactics, these things that work in the West, they are really highly effective in the West. Literally nobody gives a fuck about in China. Nobody. And listen, I'm not a fan of the CCP, but that said, I do love the Chinese people. One of my best friends here in Bangkok is Chinese from Shanghai. I had a Chinese girlfriend when I was in the US for like a year, right? So like I really like a lot of elements of the culture, the story, the history. There's so much interesting there. My friend Dragon Treasure T was simping over the Qipao, which is the traditional Chinese dress, absolutely sexy, but also don't sleep on the Hanfu. The Hanfu is a good look as well. But that said, what they didn't realize is they don't give a fuck about all this ESG stuff. Now they have their own censorship issues, Brom Bombadil. This is very true, but it's not for ESG purposes. Their own censorship is if you mention, for example, the 3 Ts, right? Tibet, Tiananmen, or Taiwan, right? That's when you're going to get in trouble. Not because you make a culturally or racially insensitive joke, according to the woke West. They could give less of a shit, right? Less of a shit. They only push the DEI stuff when it applies to foreigners and foreign products. But the second it's going to apply to a Chinese company, it is going to be absolutely dunked on. And by the way, that's very much true in Southeast Asia and Asia in general. It's going to be dunked on. It's only when the company has roots in the West, for example, Sony, which does most of its game development work in the West with people in America. That's how these things get affected, is because most of the work comes stateside. Yes, then it's a problem. But if the development team, the management is all over there in China, they're not going to give a fuck about what they have to say. So the fact of the matter is that IGN trying to cancel this game for the past year was destined to backfire. Now, just so you know, this has been going on for over a year. People are just reporting on it now, which is great. And I love that people are reporting on stuff, and that's all well and good. But this was, look at the date on this article, guys. These guys were trying to dunk on this in 2023. In 2023, Rebecca, right, was trying to junk on this in 2023. It's global fame is forcing it to confront its own sexism and that of the Chinese tech industry. No, it's not. You think you impotent, whiny little babies are gonna change shit about the Chinese tech industry? Guys, the Chinese tech industry pirates and steals intellectual property on the regular from major American corporations and flips them the bird. Literally, they steal stuff openly and they turn around. They turn around to America, to the other companies, and to whole nations, to the EU, and all they say is, "Fuck you!
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!"
It's insane to think that these people, and they're deranged to think that they could actually change anything. But of course, they focused on, oh, this is sexist, et cetera, et cetera. So here you go. Several posts have surfaced. Right, here you go. So several posts have surfaced from Chinese social media site Weibo, written by individuals from the studio, that contain multiple references to genitalia and sexual innuendos. This has provoked backlash among the games community, many of whom are women. No, actually, if you look at the statistics, and someone posted this the other day, yes, there are women as part of the community of gamers, and we love them. That's great and amazing. But the vast majority of people who are in gaming are men. It's something like, depending on the game and genre, it's usually somewhere between 85 to at least and minimum 65% in certain genres or areas, right, are men, right? So the majority, the vast majority of gamers, usually it's even north of, it can be north of 90 with certain games and platforms, etc. But the vast majority are still men, right? So try to say, okay, it's many. Okay, well, no, there's some of which, right? Now, does that mean that they're not important? No, that absolutely does mean they're important, but it also means that maybe that women and men are the same and that they just enjoy good games, right? You know, female, male gamers just want to play games and have fun. Maybe we're all the same in that way, right? And by the way, real quick, just to say some love here, because I know she rated Lydia Nakazawa, the Gyaru Cat VTuber. Welcome, Lydia. I may have to get you on to talk about Twitch and some enforcement of policies. I know there's some others that have had Twitch policies enforced against them. You might be a good interviewee for that. So I will talk to you. We'll talk to you later about that, Lydia. But thank you for rating. Appreciate that. And thank you to all the Gyaru cat lovers who are over here on my channel. I appreciate all you and all those hard VTubers, including the smaller VTubers. I really have a lot of respect for the small indies, and they really work hard. They really do work their ass off. So go give them some love, like their videos, and appreciate that. Yeah, I will DM you. I will DM you. Cat girl emojis in the chat. Cat girl emojis in the chat for Lydia, guys. And by the way, if you guys aren't members of BLM, join. Get the emojis. We're going to get more emojis. Don't you worry. Thumb Ugly said ESG, DEI, and Bridge are all funded by CCP. Yeah, they don't mind funding stuff in the US, but they're not going to adopt that stuff back home. They don't give a shit about that stuff back home. I actually talked to a friend of mine in Shanghai who is an attorney there for one of the companies, and they literally laughed when I talked about DEI. They're like, yeah, we don't do any of that shit. Invader Talks says CCP is asshole. Everything else Chinese is fine. Exactly. I have no problem with everything else Chinese. I'm okay with. I love it. In fact, Chinese food, people, everything else, style, fashion, even a lot of their media that, you know, is like untainted, right? It's actually pretty good. And I, you know, once again, you can go issue by issue with these places. You don't need to, whether it's a country or whether it is a person or an idea, right? You should focus on the particular issues, the specific issues you don't like, without hating something as a whole, right? I have people that don't like certain countries, but when I say, hey, why don't you like that country? They really don't like that country because of one thing, but they like other things about that country, right? So I say, oh, maybe you don't like Japan. And why don't you like Japan? Oh, it's too expensive and there's too much regulation. Well, do you like sushi? Yeah. Do you like anime? Yeah. Do you like Mount Fuji? Do you like hiking? Whatever. Like, yeah. So they like all these things about Japan. They just have a problem with the cost or something like that, right? So just, I think, be more nuanced. I think it helps our analysis. Zolfried says, how dare China make a Chinese mythology game featuring a monk and 3 male creatures? They should have a black monk and 3 empowered ugly women. Yes, they should change Chinese history. They should change Chinese history to please woke white women. By the way, one of the comments that they made, and I don't know if I have it pulled up, it's somewhere, but they said, oh, there's not enough femme-coded characters. Literally. They said there's not enough femme-coded. That's the word they use, femme-coded characters. What the fuck are you talking about? First of all, that's not in the story, right? Now, during their travels, they run into women. Yes, so there will be women in the game. And actually, the Game Science, the company, confirmed that there indeed are women in the game. Just because they're not the playable characters, because that's not what the Chinese myth says, does not mean that they have to change all of Chinese mythology in order to please you. And China is not going to do that, which honestly, to be 100%, is a little bit based. Like, when China says, fuck you, we're not changing stuff, I'm sorry.
Hello, Beso department.
And that's where we have to give and take. We have to say, you know what? I can dislike the CCP and still say it is based for a Chinese game company to say, hey, guess what? Sweet Baby Inc., go fuck yourself, right? And we need more of that energy. We need more of that energy, not just in China, but in the West, to telling these people to fuck off because they're ruining literally everything. They're ruining Western mythology, Eastern mythology, everything, right? Thumb Ugly says, sir, I mean CCP wield DCG, not used by. Yes, they wield it. They are not used by it. Correct. Michilati, what's up? Said, if they made Wukong black, just imagine, right? Well, I mean, let's go back over here. Wukong is kind of dark, right? Let's not lie. Like, Wukong is not exactly like a light character, right? He's not super white. His hair is white, but like he's kind of, his skin is not like pure Snow White here, right? Wukong's got a little bit of darkness in there. But that said, if they tried to say that it's racist or something like that, they would not get a good they would not get a good response. They would absolutely get destroyed by China, right? Felzu says, remember what East Taiwan took from us 497 years ago. There you go. Alpha Omega says, Japan's the same. They're starting to stick it to entertainment for Westerners, but they aren't importing it. And unless the U.S. forces their hand. No, but they're not consuming it. The thing is, the Japanese consumer is not consuming this stuff. And if you look at the pushback on things like what was going on with the Assassin's Creed got destroyed there. So let's watch this video. This one was the one that was reviewed by Asmin, but Asmin took like 30 minutes to review it. So I'm not going to review Asmin's review of this. I typically would because he has some interesting things to say typically, but we're going to go raw to V and his take on this because he's the one who kind of unearthed this. And this is the attempt to extort them, right, which came from Sweet Baby and the woke crowd. So let's watch this here.
Here we have Kojima praising one of the games that most gamers are praising. Like, it's very difficult to go on any forum right now without hearing people say good things about Wukong. It's difficult not to say. I mean, I saw the trailer. Looks good, right? One of the few games that I'm actually interested in. And here you have the person with the blue heart. Right? Like, this person emanates with compassion, with empathy. Unfortunately, is the Western type. And then, like,
well, and if you check this person, so the person on the bottom here, you might not be able to see it, but her name is Allie, and what she wrote says, seeing you promoting and praising a game studio with such a fervent history of sexism and hatred is really disappointing to me. Right? So I love how Western people specifically usually like of a woke persuasion will make these comments. And I guarantee you this woman does not speak Chinese. if you are commenting on a post that is in a foreign language and you don't like at least have an idea of what it says, maybe you shouldn't make bold assumptions. Maybe you should say, oh, well, maybe this is what it says. I don't know. This is what they're attempting to say, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, maybe you should pump the brakes a little bit, right? From, okay, this is fervent proof of sexism, right? Fervent proof. And yes, I think Kick V is an inside joke. I forget where from. Is it from Flashcast or somewhere else? Or it might be somewhere else. But let's continue. But yeah, it's a joke.
Seeing you promoting and praising a game studio with such a fervent history of sexism and hatred is really disappointing to see, right? So imagine this person surrounded by cat piss, like sitting in a room going like, right? The moral condemnation. I mean, this person is so...
Well, this person is probably, once again, in a room full of... They're probably a very miserable person. Anybody who's sitting here shitting, who's spending their day shitting on games that other people love and looking for this stuff, the real problem, the real issue is this person, like Ali here. Ali is a miserable person. Ali is not happy. Like I lead most of my days very happily. I am happy to wake up in the morning. I'm happy to be streaming with you guys. I'm happy to talk about, you know, these topics with you guys. This person is a miserable person. I guarantee you.
Virtuous. They're above you. They're your moral superior. And they just look and they condemn. They're like Jesus Christ sitting on the throne. They go like, you know, I always found it fascinating. The fact that the leftists think they have the moral high ground to issue these condemnations. You do realize that most of the technology you're using that involves some level of cobalt in it probably comes from child slavery. Is that...
You know, it's so funny how, like, this is one of the things I love, that all the DEI people that are like, oh, you know, or the people are say, oh, this is cruelty free and this is environmentally friendly. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, does that have cobalt in it? Does that have lithium in it? Yeah, there's probably some slave labor or some like child labor in that, you know, or it comes from a conflict area. So, you know, how about that? How about that? That is so true. That is so true that people do not proactively think about what they're doing. They just want the virtue signal points.
Like, probably it's most likely.
Because the children yearn for the cobalt mines. Quiet. You're gonna get us in trouble. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Now I don't understand the argument. Like, hey, you know, you need a laptop in order to function in a first world country. You need a smartphone, but do you really need a gaming rig? I guess, like, from the left perspective, you know, some children's suffering is okay as long as they get to play their video games, right? This is the disgusting part, because that argument is extreme. Is it though? I mean, they're fine with that, but they're not fine with like their definition or whatever the fuck sexism is at a studio, right? And notice how, like, if you buy a Blizzard game or if you recommend Blizzard as a studio, it's perfectly fine. But for some reason, if you recommend a game from Wukong, it's not. Why is that? So, like,
because they don't control game science. They only allow things they control. We saw it happen with Shift Up. They don't control Shift Up. And this is going to be this like weird thing with the East versus the West. And I've talked about this a lot on this channel, as well as on my other channel, Go East Gentlemen, which I have to deal with an appeal on that channel because they're trying to say I reuse something. So I got to like fight something with YouTube later on that channel. But that said, you know, one big thing with the East versus the West here is that these people in these Western DEI initiatives, Bridge, etc., Sweet Baby, when they're realizing they can't control these people and these game companies, they're freaking out because they're like, oh shit, they're gonna beat our AAA games on a fraction of the budget. And that's what they're freaking out about. Because once people see you can easily beat Western games on a fraction of the budget, they're done. Western AAA is fucking done. It's donezo. Once you see, oh no, you can break it and you can make good stories with good graphics that are things people like, it's done. It's over. RIP. You finished, right? You're finished. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that, oh shit, these people are going to get it and they're going to take our monopoly that we've had so far and they're going to break that up. They are terrified of this shit. They are absolutely terrified.
Western sexism is great, but if sexism happens overseas,
And by the way, yes, this is very true. They have no power. They have no power. The one thing that they think they have in the West, they think they have this power. Now they really don't, but we've given them that power. So they, by de facto, they have that power, not de jure. So the power that they have in the West is not by law; it's by influence, right? They have a lot of influence in the game culture here. They don't have that in the East. They have no pull. They have no say. Right? They're trying, and they've infected certain places like Sony, for example. But that said, they don't have pull into Korea or China, and that stuff is not going to fly there. It just is not going to fly. I can tell you, as somebody who lives in Asia, it is not going to work. It's in fact going to backfire spectacularly, and I'm here for it with the popcorn every single time.
is at the different studio. It's not okay. We should boycott. It is so obvious. And this is why I always point the grift. Like, I want you guys to remember the video game Hogwarts Legacy.
Yep,
and
Hogwarts
Legacy, the most unhinged members of our society decided to go and harass VTubers for playing that game. Why did they do it? Well, it's
shout out to Pippa Pipkin. Once again, this is why I cover these topics, because see, they're VTuber adjacent, right? And they affect a lot of streamers in general, not just VTubers, but we remember Pippa and all the others that got flamed for playing Hogwarts Legacy. Guys, remember that? VTuber fans, remember that? Yeah, this affects more than just your little bubble. So this is why a lot of these battles need to be fought across entire sectors, right? This is something that affects so many different people, and people need to unite around these topics and push back against them. And this is one where I think we've got a recipe for winning. Yep, Pick-a-Me, Silver Veil. Yeah, we remember. And this is why this time, we're preemptive striking them and nuking them from orbit. It's like they were threatening us. They were threatening with action, and we've just taken out their silos. Their silos are completely destroyed now. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to how they lost here big time.
As J.K. Rowling gets royalties from that game, and J.K. Rowling didn't want to give her money to trans charities and shelters that do not allow trans people in it, right? So because of that, they decided to harass VTubers for playing a game that wasn't even directly associated with J.K. Rowling. Like, she would just get royalties from it. And where did they organize that harassment campaign? On Twitter. Who owns Twitter? Elon Musk. What does Elon Musk think about pronouns? So literally, like they're fine 1 minute to work with, like, okay, we're going to work on this guy's platform because we like it, and harass people who play a video game that we don't care about, for literally being associated with a person that has the same mentality as the guy that operates the platform we're using. And the reason for it is that they generally do not care. Obviously, people know they're not compassionate. They're not empathetic. It's a fucking joke. But it is a grift. Like, they are top grifters. And
this is very true. The DEI grift, the DEI consultant grift, is extraordinarily profitable. If you guys don't know, one of the things I do is, and I still do. Now, I don't disclose my current clients, but I am still a consultant, right? And whenever I do a consulting job, I get paid a lot of money. That's one of the best things if you want to work remotely or whatever else, is to set yourself up as a consultant, especially a high paid consultant or a specific consultant. You do get a significant amount. And these people make even more. They make more than I make, for sure, by far, right? But high-end consulting is a big thing because these companies just write it off. It's just an expense they're willing to write off. They're able to bill out hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars on these consultancy contracts, which is how they survive, right?
the Chinese media actually explains how they're grifting. So they're saying, using DeepL translation, they're saying the reason why the team behind Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attack and slander since their promotional video is because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extortionate guidance fee of millions of dollars demanded by these political correctness teams.
So there you go. There it is. So there's the extortion part. There's the extortion that they demanded 7 million, saying, pay us 7 million or we're going to come after you. And by the way, this is precisely the playbook that the leader of Sweet Baby Inc. said. And to me, these people should be prosecuted on RICO charges. To me, these people are criminals that are engaging in an extortion racket by threatening people with business defamation if they don't bend the knee. These people are absolutely a hindrance to commerce. They're an hindrance to industry. They're leeches. They're lampreys across the Western economy. And they absolutely should be purged out. They absolutely should be purged out. So this is the part where, like, when they are threatening people, saying 7 million. Now, we may be too afraid to do that in Biden's America. And yes, I'm getting a little bit political, guys. Sorry, but I have to because these things are tied together, right? It is probably not going to happen where we're going to have a national level crusade to purge out DEI. But in China, which you would think, okay, China, they're communist and the socialist stuff. Okay. You think it's the same thing. No. See, if they fuck around with China, they will get banned out of the entire Chinese market. So think about this, guys. We may be too pussy to ban stuff over here, but China has no problem banning stuff. They ban Disney movies, and Disney bends the knee to them all the time. And they've gone out of their way to ban certain things that Disney has done. So if even Disney gets felted by China, you think they're not going to ban Sweet Baby Inc.? And guess what they could do? China could say, we are banning everybody who worked with Sweet Baby Inc. So any game where Sweet Baby Inc. consulted on, we're banning it from China. What could they do? They have no legal recourse. If China decides to ban all Sweet Baby Inc. games, they have no legal recourse. China, even if they were to go to the International Court of Justice in Brussels in The Hague, they're going to complain and say, oh, it's not fair. They're being mean. They're being racist. They're being sexist. Oh. China repeatedly says, fuck you to all those decisions at the ICJ. They repeatedly lose international lawsuits, China and Chinese companies, and they don't give a fuck. They don't pay a goddamn dime because China won't enforce any of it, right? They could ban them all. They're fucking around here with stuff they don't even understand. And the thing is, what I love here is their own sheer hubris is going to destroy them. Because they don't know that if you push this button too hard, you are going to get wrecked. And imagine if an entire country banned Sweet Baby Inc. games. Imagine if it happened in China or Russia or another. It would be massive and would start a tidal wave, an avalanche of countries banning people that associate with Sweet Baby Inc. Treat them like a terrorist, guys. We need to treat Sweet Baby Inc. like we treat Al-Qaeda or the Mujahideen. Or whatever else, right? ISIS, right? You can't do business with criminal and terrorist organizations. There's international laws about that. We need to start treating these people like international terrorists and saying, hey, we're just going to ban the shit out of these people across nations, right? And now maybe the US and the EU don't do it. That's fine. If every other country does it, they're fucking done. They're done. They're destroyed, right? Don't negotiate with terrorists and don't negotiate with these people. And I know, guys, I know that's a little based, but you know what?
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Dan, the mic is getting a lot of love. Sorry, I needed to say that in a passionate way. I needed to ASMR you on that. That was some based ASMR. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this, if you guys are enjoying me covering this topic, please smash the like button. It really helps out. And if you can, if I've earned it, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. And people say, yay, V is getting popular. He's been popular. He does good content. I think it may be the first time I pulled up one of his videos directly, but Jackson says, we love our Armenian troll. And also, I really believe the tide is turning against ESG woke crowd entertainment. I think it is, but we need to not get lax. We need to push. Right? We need to completely destroy it and root it out like the evil cancer it is. if we give up and allow it to metamorphosize into bridge, we have not won. They have won, right? They have won. Let's continue here.
They go on in detail and they say that such teams are quite common in Europe and America. They interfere with works like Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, and God of War by pushing politically correct female protagonists. And these changes are the direct result of the interference of guidance of such teams. Game science teams refuse to communicate with these groups and reject their interference. Most importantly, and this is what really shocked me, is that you need to pay $7 million in guidance fees. Remember
that's the extortion right there. $7 million. And for what? So they can ruin your game? Fuck you. Fuck you.
What I said? Remember what I said when it's like, why are games so expensive to make nowadays? Why they, like, first of all, you have these guidance teams that are going to make all of your female character look like body type B with pronouns attached. So you can't sell any merchandise with them, right? You can't sell any toys. You can't sell any t-shirts. Like no one wants to associate with the character. Like women find it disgusting as well. So you can't make money off of that. The game costs more because you need to pay an exorbitant amount just for the counseling. And that's why so many companies go like for DLC, all of these bad business transactions, why games cost $130, despite the fact that they look uglier than the games we had in the past.
This is very true. These costs, these consulting costs, are being factored into the price of the game. This is one of the factors, not the only factor. Obviously, wages and other things are pushing up inflation. But that said, it is one of the factors in why your game costs so much and why they need to increase it to 150, 200, et cetera, and why those prices are only going to go up.
Like the games we had in the past, sure, they look a little bit bad because of the graphical limitations and whatnot. But even then, like, you get to see that they put a lot more effort in physics. They put a lot more effort into water reflections and everything that they could in order to make the game look better, while having less developers, while paying less money to create the game. And the games are even more fun. And when you have like video games like Wukong that doesn't interact with these guidance people, the game looks amazing. Gamers like it, and they're probably willing to buy merchandise and t-shirts with that game. So they don't really have to sell as much DLC and, all these bad business practices that most of these game companies are doing nowadays. So they're saying that this is the direct reason why they are being attacked and slandered. Some justification are based on the team's lack of diversity or representation, which doesn't align with the political correctness standards. And we actually saw this. We saw this with Blizzard developers. They're now making a new company and they're releasing a new game. And immediately the media is like, oh my God, it's only white men. Oh, it's only white men that are doing it. It's like, okay, and are you going to say that this company is filled with Chinese people that are doing it? Or are you going to go to Japan and see, like, what is it? Like, it's only white men. And like, why is no one looking at them and going like, and?
Yep.
A typical example is an article by major IGN writer, says the Chinese media, Hogwarts Legacy, and refuses to evaluate or promote it due to the alleged lack of political correctness. And as you can see, Sweet Baby is dropped here.
There you go. Because they're behind all of this. So that's a good enough from V on the extortion part, which is the part I really wanted to get out of it, and also the involvement of Sweet Baby and IGN. So we've gotten the article from IGN that was even for a year ago. So now we had the backup. So we had IGN coming for them. Now we even had PC Gamer, and this is courtesy of Mark Kern on Grums, who posted this on Twitter. I'm reusing his screen cap, so thank you, Mark. This here is PC Gamer, and this really shows, guys, that the industry of game journos is fucking dead. It is so dead. All of these game journos are parroting the exact same bullshit talking points that they've been parroting the entire time. So this one says, my first 2 hours of Black Myth were a flurry of demanding boss fights, unbelievably pretty characters in a surprisingly sparse world, demanding, but oh no, cry me a river because the game is too tough. Shut the fuck up, right? Get good, newbie. Get good, scrub, right? listen, I have no sympathy for people say, oh, the game is too hard. No, the game is too hard. Get good, right? Get fucking good. That's a skill issue. That's 100% a skill issue. But then look at the actual body of the article. This is from the article. If you're not one of the many Souls-like fans who've rocketed Black Myth Wukong to the top of their most wishlist game, we're going to look at that in a second. You've probably seen it in passing. It's an action RPG loosely adapting the 15th century novel Journey to the West, the latest of many adaptations, including Enslaved Odyssey to the West. You play as the Monkey King himself, Sun Wukong, taking on the world with his magic staff. It's only the second game by indie outfit Game Science, which was founded by ex-Tencent devs. Tencent, also famous Chinese company. You might remember Game Science as the subject of the 2023 IGN report detailing a history of sexism from one of its founders, as well as a wider company culture of misogyny. Shut the fuck up, right? Once again, game journos trying to come over here and pull that shit, and it's not going to work. That shit is not going to work, because as they even acknowledge, guess what happened, guys? Guess what happened with this game? Number one on most wish list game. Number one, right? Boom. Done. Monkey W, right? This ability, this thing to try to do, Streisand the shit out of this to the point that it's got number one. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. You just got this game way more press than it would have gotten otherwise. I wouldn't have covered this on my channel unless you did this. Congratulations. Millions of people are now looking at this game because of you. They just got, like, literally Black Myth Wukong got more press because you tried to hate on it than anything else. It's just like Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade got insanely popular because of this. In fact, at this point, we should even be saying thank you to the sweet babies of the world, because their own incompetence and bullshit is allowing these games, which seem by all remarks to be great games, to take off and explode. So thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Speaking of thank you, I want to say thank you real quick over here to my Rumble Chads and Stacy's. And there's two I want to get here, which is Occupant. It says, story time with Andrew for 10. Yes, thank you. I love telling stories. And Occupant says, I love listening to people talk about the poor graphics of a game while I'm playing Minecraft, one of the most successful games ever. You do not need good graphics to make a good game. In fact, many of the games I like to play are still like 8-bit or low quality or whatever else old games, because they have a good story. They have good mechanics. I still play fucking Star Wars Rebellion. Look up Star Wars Rebellion, right, guys? Look how old that fucking game is if you haven't seen it, because nothing new in Star Wars is good at all. But Star Wars Rebellion, I still play that. I play with like a mod on, but the mod doesn't increase the graphics. It just adds new little icons, but that's it, right? I play old as shit games just because I like them. I like the mechanics. I like the idea. I like the concept, I like the story, right? Crazy shit. All right, let's get through here. King Lugia said, hey, Legal Mindset, hope you received my email featuring SEA and Woke. I probably did. I'll pull it up and I'll pull up my email and just make sure I got it. But I don't like to view stuff. Yeah, I got it here. I've already watched that one, bro. We've watched that comment on the Prime Minister talking about wokeism of Singapore. We've watched that one, but that's a good one. That's a good one. It's on my Goey's channel. Amaranth Freud says, go to Twitter and virtue signal about pro-trans rights owned by Elon Musk, who refuses to recognize his own trans daughter. Is utterly ironic. These people never understand the irony of what they do or what they say. And also, all the people that said they were going to leave Twitter, why aren't they leaving? Why aren't any of those people that said they were going to leave Twitter after Elon took over? Why didn't they leave? Because they didn't leave. They didn't delete their accounts. They whined and cried about it. But it's like the people that say they're going to move to Canada. They never actually moved to Canada, right? They're like, they'll lose, their favorite politician will lose. They'll say, I'm moving to Canada. Well, why are you still living where you live? Okay, so your words don't mean anything. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Enterprise of Grego says, this sounds like a cartel protection racket. Pay us money and tell our journalists that to not slander you. Remember these journals, DEI people and woke people? This is Enterprise. This is why I'm saying this should be a criminal racketeering investigation at the national level. This should be a criminal investigation to the extortion done by these companies as a cartel, right? This is a cartel protection racket, absolutely 100%. This is why I say this should be criminal. It should be criminal. What they're trying to do. Willis Payne says femme-coded characters. I'm going to date myself, but what the hell are you talking about, Willis? If you want to make a good game, make it y'all selves. Yeah, when I heard femme-coded, I was like,
What the fuck?
you're a female, you mean female, but they can't say female anymore because that doesn't include female presenting people, right? Oh my God, so controversial. So horrible. And by the way, look, I have no problem. People, you want to be what you want to be. You're an adult. You're 18 years old, whatever. You want to call yourself what I want to call it. You want to do whatever you want to do. Live your own life. No one cares, right? But that said, right, why do we need to baby step around everything and not just say, say it what we want to say, right? If I want to say male and female, that shouldn't be a hate crime, right? To say, okay, I've said male and female, right? If you want to interpret that as female looking, that's fine. That's your ability. You can, as an adult, as a grown person, say, yeah, my intention was to say female. My intention isn't to create a hate crime or to go out and go after people. No, it's just the word that normal people have used for literally millennia, right? Let's continue to use some words. Let's not go into the Newspeak era. I'm not a fan of Newspeak. Wildcate says about 15 to 20% of lithium is coming out of Arkansas next year. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Did not know that. The more I know. Kai Guy for the 125 Philippine pesos. Shout out. Appreciate you. Will get me my Pandesal when I'm back in Manila. I'll be back in Manila in like 2 weeks. My brother's visiting, so I'm going to show him around the Philippines. It's going to be fun. If it's true, by the way, they're connected. Doesn't this sound like syndicated shorts? Yes, this is what I'm saying, guys. This is why I think there could be a legitimate case for a criminal action against them. Now, in order for this to happen, there need to be people in charge that are willing to attack it that way. I'm not trying to get political. All I'm going to say is it's not going to happen in the current administration. And I don't think that's controversial. I think that that's not going to surprise anybody. I don't care if you're on the right or on the left, right? I don't care what your politics are. And by the way, this isn't about politics, right? I'm just saying that under the current American political system, it's not going to happen. It might happen in a different environment, right? But right now that won't happen. Now, it could happen in other countries. And the ironic thing is it has a lot of ability to happen in China, right? Where they come after them as a racket. That would be hilarious. I would love it. Enterprise says, didn't Buddha say women cannot teach enlightenment? I forget because I studied Buddhism a little bit, but I'm by no means a Buddhism expert, right? I'm much more well-versed in Christianity. I used to be a pastor, youth and children's pastor for a while. For those that don't know about that, my Andrew Lore. I think it might have been a Theravada thing that women could not be enlightened because of the quote unquote higher virtue of men. But I think Mahayana Buddhism got rid of that. And then there's equal status there. And I believe women can reach nirvana. People who know more about Buddhism maybe can chime in the chat. But I think there may be a difference in the major Buddhist divisions, right? So there's Mahayana, which is more of I don't want to call it the Protestantism, but that's probably more like Westerners can understand, like Protestantism and Catholicism, right? I think Theravada is more like the traditional side, and Mahayana is more like the other side. But yeah, there's some differences in the dogma, and of course within those broader divisions, there's subdivisions, right? It's like Shinto Buddhism, like the merger in Japan, or Zen Buddhism. There's different versions of Buddhism in different countries, right? That have adapted it in different ways. Let's see here. Some people have replaced reality with entitlement. Indeed. Enterprise says, rule of thumb, if the woke hate it, it's good. Yeah, and that's why when you see these things that they're seething about, you're like, oh, wow, this is going to send this to the top, right? The way this gets on the top is because they brought our attention to it. So it must be good. Shadow Knight said, 1190 said, out of curiosity, did you hear about Niji's investor call? I have not. Maybe that's a future episode. Jim Blade says, DEI stuff is a protection racket. Mafia, basically. Indeed. Irham says, Asians already racist against each other. Step up SBI. Yeah. Irhan, and you're over there in Indonesia with the ringgit. People, my brothers in Asia, my Asian brothers and sisters, shout out. You guys know nobody does racism, like inter-Asian racism. You've never heard insults and digs till you've heard Asians making fun of other Asians. It is, in fact, epic on the level of thousands of years of practiced and refined racism. It's great. It's fantastic. Right? Like, I just sit back and I'm listening to my Chinese friend talk about Koreans, and I'm like, bro. But then I'll talk to my Korean friend about Chinese people, and it's like, bro. Or like they're both talking about the Japanese. I'm like, damn, bro, you guys got savage real quick. Bro, like it's like, this shit is definitely not SBI approved. Like Sweet Baby Inc. is not approving any of this shit, right? But you're not going to stop it. Go ahead and try to stop that. Please try to stop that. It's not going to happen. Spoiler, it's not going to work, right? People like can't confirm. It's not going to work, which is why I'm laughing. I'm like, guys, you have no fucking clue. They're sitting over there in their little office in Vancouver and San Francisco. Oh, we all got to be friends. Oh. And then I'm talking to my Chinese friend, and he's like, Korea is land of thief. They steal everything from China. They steal everything. And then my Korean friend is like, bro, China eats gutter oil. They literally eat like oil from the gutter. I'm like, no, you're kidding me. So they're like, no, look it up. Look up gutter oil. China doesn't produce enough oil, so they reuse their oil in their cooking. I'm like, no fucking way. Right. And then I go to the Philippines, and then my Thai friends are like, yo, did you eat the reused food? Because Philippines is known in certain parts of the Philippines are very poor for recycling food. They're like, yo, did you eat the trash food? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. Then I go to the Philippines. They're like, you know that Thais only care about money. It's like, bro, you guys all like have some shit on each other. Like, and this is like decades of shit, it's like decades of crazy stuff, and they don't hold back. It's nuts. I love it. Curio says Nintendo Direct watch doing tonight. Yes or no? Wait, what? I don't know. Look, I like, if you guys have information for me or stuff for me to watch, send it to my email, tag me on Twitter, send it to me directly, DM me. I will get it even if it's in my other folder. I check my other like backup folder for stuff. So send it to me, email me, andrewesquirelive@gmail.com, and I will check it out. Boog for 50 Mexican says, if DI is a racketing scheme, shouldn't the FBI be investigating and prosecuting? Yes. Or they refrain because it's being funded by another Fed? Yes, that's probably it. Because a lot of this stuff, in terms of the DEI stuff, is being funded by the federal government. And this is something that was exposed pretty recently, which they really tried to bury. They really tried to bury that one. All right. Well, we've gotten to the next segment, which is something that you guys brought up for me and you guys had me cover, which was Adobe. This is something that was actually previously requested, and I called it. I said, we are going to get action on this at a national level. And we got it. We got it here. And I did not expect it to come from the US DOJ. Now, I wish the US DOJ would do stuff like suing over these DEI companies, but I will take the Adobe complaint. Now, we're going to skim some of it. We're not going to do it. And ironically, we're reading the Adobe lawsuit using an Adobe product. This is like the Adobe Reader plugin. So it's actually kind of hilarious that we're reviewing the Adobe with Adobe, right? But the US DOJ, the Civil Protection Division, has filed a lawsuit, the United States of America versus Adobe. How wrecked can you get? This is absolutely nuts. F around and find out, bro. F around and find out. So what do they got here? The U.S., United States of America, acting on referral of the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Like I said, they're going to get regulatory oversight, and this is the body that always does the regulatory oversight. So you got to understand, like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Change the color to yellow. I don't like orange, right? So Adobe is one of the largest software companies that make applications such as Acrobat, Photoshop, and Illustrator. They offer subscription plans to those and dozens of products on Adobe.com. For years, Adobe has harmed customers by enrolling them in its default, most lucrative subscription plan without clearly disclosing important plan details. Guys, this is exactly what I said. This is precisely what I said. They didn't disclose anything. And now they're being fucking wrecked for it. They failed to disclose by signing up for its annual paid monthly subscription. They're agreeing to a year-long commitment with a hefty early termination fee. And they only disclose the ETF when subscribers attempt to cancel, turning the stealth ETF into a powerful retention tool by trapping customers in subscriptions they no longer want. Bro, they fucking got this. Is dead to rights. They're so screwed. During enrollment, they hide material terms. This is the word here, material, right? Material. That means substantial. That means terms that matter, not bullshit terms, not other crap. This is important terms in fine print and behind optional text boxes and hyperlinks. This is what I'm saying, guys. A lot of these companies are going to get in trouble for trying to hide bullshit in their TOS. So remember, when I go through these TOS and I say, hey, they're really trying to hide this, or this is really buried, or this is something they don't really talk about, this is going to come up. This is going to come up in these lawsuits, and it's going to come up again and again. Some points are redacted because it's the U.S. It's the U.S. government, so there's probably certain stuff that they consider classified or confidential or whatever else. So they redacted it in their complaint, right? The government. It redacted it. You'll see it when it goes to trial and when it comes out, but for now it's redacted, right? So Adobe then deters cancellations by employing an onerous and complicated cancellation process. As part of this convoluted process, Adobe ambushes subscribers with the previously obscured ETF when they attempt to cancel. Through that, they've violated specific laws. So what this probably is, guys, 4 and 5 are probably talking about witnesses that know about that, or CIs, confidential informants, right? That's probably what's in here. They probably have facts that are part of that information that's blocked out. So they're suing in federal court. They're going to sue in the San Jose division. So they're taking it to Cali, which has strong consumer protections because Adobe has its principal place of business there. But beyond that, they're probably, it's not looking good there. So this is subject to the FTC Act. They're suing under the FTC Act, as well as under the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act, or ROSCA. Adobe is a defendant. One of the people that is being sued as well is Maninder Swani, the Senior Vice President of Digital To Go Marketing. So he's under suit, as well as David Wadhwani, who's the director, who's the president of digital media business at Adobe, right? And now you've got the Restore Online Confidence Act. So what does that do? It says that consumer confidence is important to the growth of online commerce. To continue its development as a marketplace, the internet must provide consumers with clear and accurate information and give sellers the opportunity to compete with others for a consumer business. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Internet companies have gotten away with this bullshit for a while, but they're not going to get away with it forever. Eventually, they are going to be regulated and they will be pushed. Just because in-person brick and mortar has been the target for decades and decades and decades doesn't mean that these internet companies are going to get away with what they're doing forever. And what they call this is generally prohibited charging customers for goods through a negative option feature, which is unless the seller clearly and conspicuously discloses all material terms and obtains their express consent before making the charge and provides simple mechanisms to stop recurring charges. A negative option feature is an offer or agreement to sell or provide any good or service under which the customer's silence or failure to take affirmative action to reject goods or services or cancel the agreement is interpreted as acceptance of the offer. So it's an unfair and deceptive practice or act affirming commerce. So this is the statute that they're going to say, hey, it's invalid under this particular business model, which is a subscription model. So they go through here, the subscription model, and their subscription model made them $7.71 billion in 2019. And then 2023, $14.22 billion of their $19 billion. This is their cash cow. This is their cash cow. You see why they get so crazy about it. This is making over 2/3 of their revenue. I don't math so good, but this is, I mean, that's probably more than that. calculator this real quick. Let me calculate this real quick. It's your boy calculator. So this thing was, so let's see, 14.22 divided by, let's see what we got here. 73%, 73.2%. 70, almost 75% of the revenue, almost 75%. Bro, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And that's because they are charging automatically monthly. If they cancel before the end of the year, it's subject to the ETF, and they calculate the ETF as 50% of any remaining contract obligation. That is nuts. And if you cancel before the end of the year, you lose service at the end of the month during which you cancel. So you're not even getting what you're paying for as part of the ETF. You should, if you're going to pay an ETF, you should get service for the rest of the year. Consumers subscribe to Adobe products by using a computer or smart device to enroll. Well, we all know that. I'm not going to explain how you buy Adobe. That's kind of obvious, right? So here's the unlawful flow. So on the plan selection page here, here's how you select it. Oh, look, we're going to pay $54.99. Fees apply if you cancel after 40 days. Right? Let me tell you about the fees. So they tell you, okay, oh, it's $54 a month. Oh, okay. Oh, all right, that's fine. Oh, we're gonna get a full plan here, right? Fees apply. When you navigate down, right, it says if you cancel after 14 days, your service will continue until the end of the month's billing period, and you will be charged an early termination fee. Right? They are not given concrete information about the amount of the ETF. The issue is when you hover over, you are not told how much you're going to be charged and how ridiculous this charge is. It does not state anywhere that they require a 1-year commitment. Where does it say that here? Where does it say you are committed for 1 year? Not even in the tooltip. It doesn't say anywhere that you're committed for 1 year. They just make that shit up. It does not disclose at all the fee that would be charged for early cancellation. So that goes back to here, the flow. When you're purchasing it, here's the purchase page. Nothing is disclosed to you. Nothing is disclosed to you. All it says is, oh, it's going to automatically renew, but it doesn't talk about that at all. And look at it. No annual commitment required after the first year. Well, does that implies there's an annual commitment the first year, but it doesn't tell you that there's an annual commitment the first year, right? See, this says right here, cancel, no annual commitment required after the first year. It implies it, but it doesn't tell you what it is. It doesn't tell you the scope of that at all. There's no explicit link to the charge. That violates the statute, according to the DOJ. Right. And look, I have some pretty fair confidence in this because the DOJ would not bring this type of complaint, would not make this assertion unless that's how the statute worked. Adobe defendants know about profit and consumer confusion regarding the API. So their enrollment has generated frequent complaints to the BBB, Better Business Bureau. Guys, this is why I say you need to complain. You need to submit this because when there is proof, like for example, complaints to the BBB, that can be used in court against these companies. So you need to submit complaints against these companies when they're pulling bullshit. This is why it matters. This is why these complaints matter and why you should be submitting these complaints also through their own community support web pages and on social media. All of this is being used as evidence against them. That's why you need to do all of it. No, because some people say people don't do that already. No, actually they don't because they think it doesn't matter. A lot of people do not write a complaint because they're like, oh, I just give up. No, don't give up. Fight back. Customers are confused about the terms of the APM and the 1-year commitment. So they've got proof of that. Okay, so this is all evidence of his personal supervision. So there's probably somebody inside the company that like a CI, confidential informant, and they're protecting them there. So these sections are kind of covered in terms of the personal involvement of the two executives. So we'll skip past those. But here you go. Adobe's unlawful cancellation practices. So they generally provide them with two primary options to cancel: online self-cancellation and contacting customer service. It does not automatically cancel. They should provide an option where it automatically cancels unless you affirmatively act to keep it in place. That's a problem. Self-cancellation. The flow there has a lot of requirements, right? There's no way to dispute the charge using a self-cancellation flow. So there's no way to dispute the ETF charge, the early termination fund. You cannot dispute it. You cannot challenge it. You can't speak to somebody if you use self-cancel. The only way you can do it is by calling customer service. Well, if you call customer service, you're still impeded, right? Subscribers have their calls or chats dropped or disconnected. Dude, this happens all the time. In fact, I'll tell you what, I was trying to call Microsoft to cancel my basic like online cloud subscription. It's only $5 a month. They didn't have a service for me to do that. They couldn't, like, because that specific service, maybe because it's a small ticket item or whatever else, there was no way for me to do that except for by going online and logging in. But I actually like forgot my password for that. So I didn't have any way to do that. So there was literally no way for me to call in. And then whenever I would call in, the call would be dropped, would be kicked off, redirected to a robot, etc. Right? People would not take that call, right? Even when I called into other customer service reps, they refused to do it for me. So I actually had to cancel the credit card and have them block that charge in order to get that thing to stop. It's crazy. Subscribers have transferred to one or more Adobe reps during their call or chat, forcing them to encounter delays, re-explain themselves, and request it. Yes, and this is what these companies do. They know that's what you have to do. That's why these subscriptions can be really, really a pain in the ass. Many subscribers who insist on canceling encounter resistance and delay from the reps. Many subscribers having to cancel by phone have been subjected to time-consuming and burdensome process, right? They provide no refunds or partial refunds to some subscribers who incur charges after an attempted unsuccessful cancellation. So the cancellation process itself is problematic. They know there's problems with that. They're not willing to do all of that. And beyond that, they know the regulation. So these people have attorneys, just like the companies I represent. They have attorneys that are in-house. They have extensive legal resources, including in-house and outside counsel. I worked as compliance counsel. I knew about this shit. I know about ROSCA, right? The fact that they don't know about that, they have no excuse. They have zero excuse. Adobe and its executives were aware of significant government and regulatory scrutiny regarding this process, including the civil investigation demand the FTC issued to Adobe in 2022. So they were well aware of this. They've nevertheless persisted until the present day, which just shows how obstinate they are. So failure to clearly and conspicuously disclose material terms, that's a violation of ROSCA. That's count one. So this is the one count against everybody, both the company and the individuals. Count two, failure to obtain expressed informed consent. You need to have expressed informed consent, particularly before charging your credit card, bank card, or other financial account. Guys, this is probably something that other companies are doing. So this is something I want to see other companies get destroyed over. Count three, failure to provide simple cancellation. Something they should do, but they're not doing it, and that's a violation of the statute. And of course, the fact this is ongoing conduct, they knew about it, and they're continuing to do it. So they're asking the court to stop all of this, to halt these violations, to issue injunctions, to stop them from doing this, and to address the injuries, award civil penalties, right? And find that they violated these statutes. The thing that might happen right here is a temporary injunction. I would love to see a temporary injunction stopping the ETF, the early termination fee, while this is pending. That would be a big thing. And if that comes down the pike, I will indeed cover that. But that is the Adobe lawsuit that we have there today. Guys, I am absolutely really interested in seeing how that plays out. I will post that on my locals for you guys. If you guys want to see that, I will post that link on my locals. And actually, you know what? I'll post it also I'll try to put it in the link to this as well, right? We'll put it in the link to this as well. It's really, really bad. But the good thing is now that they're taking action on it, it's good to see that we're moving in the right direction, right? Let me get these super chats. We got a bunch here. Weird says 5 years from now, foresee Andrew is in Asian prison after his flight gets redirected to Hong Kong. No, I'm not gonna have any problems in Hong Kong. Not gonna have any problems in Hong Kong. Actually, like I've cleared up all of my issues with me and China. We're cool now. I don't think I'm gonna get arrested by the CCP anymore. Artemis says corpos forget the government carries a very big stick and are just waiting for anyone dumb enough for them to swing it around and lay down the law. Yeah. Although I did say the word Taiwan, Tibet, and Tiananmen, so maybe I will get arrested. Never mind. Take that back. Yeah, the government is going to come down on a lot of these people, and look, they're playing with fire because they're fucking with people on a massive scale, and it also ends up fucking with the government themselves that uses these products, right? Adobe Acrobat Reader, only useful Adobe product. Facts. FTC, DOJ probably need to look into big government as well. Correct. Homeland Security does find DEI for games. That is also correct. So that's why they're prosecuting one thing, but not the other. This lawsuit has been in the works for a while. That's good. That's good. But now the complaint is dropped, and it's good to see them following through on it. Wildcade says, does it even address the new IP theft workaround? I don't know. I didn't see IP theft in there. That did not have IP theft in there. So that's one thing that may not be there, but getting it off of the subscription model and allowing you to cancel would defeat the IP thing, because you could just opt out of Adobe and stop paying. So you'd be able to opt out and cancel. Artemis says gem memberships don't cancel even upon death. This is facts. They keep charging you even in the grave to get those gains, which most people don't, by the way. Yeah. All right. I think I've gotten everything there. Andrew's problems are with North Korea and his Kim avatar. No. Kim Jong-un loves my avatar. He would find this hilarious. Kim Jong-un find this hilarious. Speaking of which, we've got to watch. I'll make the outro the Long Man one that's like strung together. But I did promise somebody we were going to watch the Doom trailer. So we're going to play like 30 seconds of this. I know I'm probably going to get demonetized for this, but because somebody begged me to play this, and because we're talking about games today, I figure, okay, let's play a little bit of a game here. We'll play like 30 seconds of it. I think we can get it. It does look pretty good though. This game does look pretty good for Doom: The Dark Ages. So I'll play this trailer as I've been asked to play it. So we'll play a little bit of this, right, in case you guys haven't seen it. It looks good. I like when it'll say heavy metal music. I'm like, yes, please tell me what type of music is playing, right? This game does look good. You have me. Whenever there's a boomstick involved, you have me. You have me. And then I think we'll show a little bit of the gameplay here. Gameplay looks good. Okay, I'll stop it there because I know we're already probably yellow, but gameplay looks really good. So there we go. So Angelo, I got you, bro. Even though, let's see. Are we yellow? Are we yellow from that? Let's see. Let's check real quick, guys. Let's check real quick if we're on the naughty list for that. We probably are. Not yet, but it takes a second to catch up. All right. Let's see. Okay. That's what I got for today, guys. Really appreciate all you guys. Thank you for the support. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys are hanging out. Also, Locals people, I'm going to do a supporters exclusive on Locals after this, like a post show. So stick around after the Long Man stuff, the NTR compilation here runs. We're going to do a show on Locals. So if you want to go over there, if you're a supporter, it's going to be supporters only, kind of unscripted, untied, talk about some topics, get a little spicy over there on Locals. So if you want to go over there, go over to legalmindset.locals.com and join that. Until then, stay based, and I will catch you all later. Have a little bit of the long man.
どうしたの？
トールさんが避ける組咲いてる時の顔が好き。
そう？
もっと長く見てたいな。
long 危ないね、あの人。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
キリンさんが見て手長猿。こっちはゾウさんだ。
ちーちゃんは長いのが好きなんだね。
別に意識してるわけじゃないけど。
気のせいか。long 前にも言ったね、あの長い人。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
出先で避ける組のマンゴー見つけてさ。
本当？
バイク便で送ったから。そろそろ吹くと思うよ。
そう、すごいタイミング。
サインお願いします。
long ちーちゃん、聞こえてる？
あ、届いたよ。ありがとう。
マンゴー味珍しいからたくさん買ったんだ。今度2人で食べようね。おーい、ちーちゃん。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
それ、触ってみてもいいですか？
どうぞ。
長い。これどうやって咲くんですか？
こんな風に。
long
ダメ？
すいません。避ける組対長い避ける組。
はーい。
電話出ないから心配になって。
ちょっと寝込んでて。
これ持ってきたから一緒に食べよう。
今日は。ちょっと待って、今はダメ。
long あいつが来てたんだ。
違うの。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
ちーちゃん、どうして俺じゃなくてこいつなんだよ。
それは。
そうかい。長けりゃいいのかい。ビロービロー。
やめて、グミがかわい
そう。ビロよ。ちーちゃん。
黙っててごめん。実は私もう長くないの。だから長いものを見ると安心できるの。
ちーちゃん。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
どうしてそんな猿芝居したの？目移りするの、チーの悪い癖だよ。
だって長いんだもん。
長さに騙されてんじゃねえよ。避けるグミ、一袋分並べていくと、ほら、同じ長さになるの。食べやすいようにわざわざ切ってあるんだよ。トールさん優しい。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
ちーちゃん聞いてもいい？
何？
プロポーズってどんな風にされたい？正直に言ってごらん。
フラッシュモブは嫌かな。なんかこっぱずかしいし、フラッシュモブ以外で。
ちーちゃん、僕と結婚。long 耳長っ。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
ちーちゃん。
ダメ。結婚式までお預け。
おやすみ。
おやすみ。
シートベルトお締めください。
long
どちらまで？
どうして？ は？すいません。やっぱり忘れられない。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
叫んじゃねえぞ、はたぼうよ。Long, long man.
避ける組対長い避ける組。
私、長い間あなたのこと待ってたの。トールさんごめんなさい。私のことは忘れて。分かったでしょ？私はひどい女なの。
ああ、もうやだ。どうしていつも俺の前に現れるんだよ。
一目見た時から君のことが。
Long,
The flip, guys.
long
Flip.
man.
トール君、
俺？嘘だろ。
高いったのに。どうして？
僕らはきっと分かり合える。
触ってみてもいいですか？